you think the Niners are going to trade Trey Lance on draft night. A lot of people think the Niners are going to trade Trey Lance eventually. I mean, I asked John Lynch straight up, and he was like, we're fine with Trey on the team for now. Like, that's telling you that he's on the trade block. The only question is, what do they want and can they get it? But first, would it be wise for the 49ers to trade Trey Lance? Remember, he's 22. They gave up a lot to get him. He's only played 4 starts. They may think they know what they got, but they really don't. What do you think? Would it be wise?
I mean, on paper today, how could you argue that it would, right? I mean, you've got Brock Purdy. We don't know, at least I don't know. Maybe they know, but I don't know how he's going to recover. And you've got Sam Darnold, and I don't think Sam Darnold is very good. So
I don't know that Sam Darnold thinks that Sam Darnold is very good. I mean, God.
I can't say
confidence is an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that it would be wise, but I do think it's going to happen. I just think that they know that Trey's got to play, and maybe there's some behind the scenes, somebody pushing on them to make sure that he plays. And so that kind of is forcing their hand to make an evaluation. I think they've evaluated it, and they've decided that Brock's their guy. And now Darnold is the guy who's going to step in for Brock, which is why, at the beginning of the year, if Brock's not ready, it's not going to be Trey. It's going to be Darnold. Personally, Grant, I talked to Hensley about this the other day. If these guys have an open competition in camp, there's no doubt in my mind Trey Lance is going to beat out Sam Darnold. So that's why I think it's not going to happen, because I don't think there's going to be an open competition in camp. And I think somehow, some way they're going to move off of Trey before that. I wouldn't, but I think they are. And I think it's about 2 things. I think it's about committing to Brock. It's probably about some quarterback they also like in the draft. And I think more than anything, it's about, if you get what you want, which is a healthy Brock Purdy, then Trey Lance is destined to sit. And Trey Lance hasn't played a full season since high school for the Mars, played 1 full season since high school. I think they know that he has to play, and I think they're going to move him on because they're going to commit to Brock. And I think they'll, and the question is, and the other, what are they going to get?
Well, let's not go there yet. Hold on. Let's not go there just yet.
Then the other question is why? I mean, like, how have you made this evaluation that quickly? I mean, I personally don't feel like I know what Trey is, but maybe they do because they've been in practice with him.
But I feel like it's not necessarily that they know for sure that Trey's never going to reach his potential. It's that they're getting a little ahead themselves with Brock a little bit. Like, it's what Albert Breer said. They love Brock. You can hear it. They love Brock. And I did too during the season. I did too. But then what Kyle says makes sense. It's like, man, yeah, he'd be the leader if he hadn't gotten injured. So to me, like, I feel like a part of that organization is getting a little ahead of itself with Brock. You got to see what he's going to be over the long haul. Is he going to get injured again? What's he going to be like coming back from this injury? Those are legit questions. Does the league catch up to him? But I think there's also the fact that Kyle's is really like Sam Darnold. So if you got 2 people in the organization that Kyle really likes, in Darnold and Brock, and I think he might even like him equally. Who knows? With Kyle Shanahan, what's the point of even not wasting time with Trey? What's the point of even putting more time and effort into Trey if Kyle has 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now that he likes? So in that sense, I can see it happening. The question is it wise though? I mean, how much are you really going to get? We'll see. The other thing is, if you don't trade him now, that return could drop quickly. You could get even less next year.
Yeah, the only real reason that you'd want to trade Trey Lance now is if you don't believe in him. If you do believe in him, why would you trade him? Right? I mean, if you believe he's going to be great, why would you trade Trey Lance? The only reason you trade him is that you believe that if he plays, either you're going to give the job to Darnold or Darnold's going to beat him out, and then you feel like his value is going to be less.
But this is where Kyle talks out of like every side of his mouth. He said that Trey Lance would have had a really good season last year too if he would have stayed healthy. So it's like, when he says that, it's like, okay, well, he still believes in Trey. Trey still got a spot on this team. They haven't written him off. But then he says stuff like, well, Sam Darnold has as good of a skill set as I've ever seen. It's like, well, he just says stuff that I don't even know what to make of what Kyle Shanahan says anymore.
Seriously, it's like the person that comes up to you and says, hey, man, you're my favorite radio host ever. And then you're like, thanks, man. And you know who my second is? And it's like the guy that you think's like the shittiest radio guy of all time.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, so what if you think that guy's good and you think I'm good? Well, maybe you're just bad. You have bad opinions.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? It kind of
how could you like both of us? I hate that guy. How could you like us both? Yeah.
You like me? Cool. Oh, you like
Yeah.
that guy? What the fuck's wrong with you? No, but no, I just think that I somehow, some way they've just evaluated Trey, I think, and I just think that they don't feel like, it may go back to, and this is speculation, but it may go back to the adage that Shanahan started with, which is we have Hoyer because we want our backup to be like our starter. If you look around the league, there are examples where teams have gone with players that the backup is very much similar to the starter, so you don't have to change your offense altogether. Maybe they feel like they've got to have two offenses, one that they can't even describe Trey as a quarterback. He has to have his own dual threat quarterback, and it shows in the games, at least the brief, glimpses we've gotten. He's coached. I don't want to say coach, but he's called different plays for Trey than he has for the other guys. I personally, Grant, would just love to see Trey.
I don't like that at all.
Can't Trey operate Jimmy's scheme? Can't Trey operate the same plays that Brock's operating? I'd like to see it because, Grant, I don't think of him as an elite runner. I think of him as an athletic kid who can scramble and just run your offense and allow him to scramble.
But like the zone read keeper is who cares about that play? I mean, you keep the ball on short yardage to get a first down or a touchdown. It's not an explosive play, the quarterback keeping the ball on a zone read. I think they're missing the point using him that way. He keeps the ball on designed runs way too much. He should be a decoy. He should be taking eyes off the running back. He should be handing off 95% of the time. And the way I look at it is the most explosive rushes in the NFL are scrambles. When a quarterback scrambles, something good's going to happen most likely, either with his legs or with his arms, with his arm. So Trey can do that. Forget this zone read stuff. Those are like 4-yard gains.
Right.
5-yard gains.
It's
Who cares?
Continuity piece to keep your offense on the field on third down. It's not an offense.
No.
You use him. I mean, they love the Mahomes development plan. How about the Mahomes game plan, which is he's a pocket passer. He only moves to extend pass plays, and then he'll bust you for one 35-yard run down the seam in the fourth quarter. But he's not a runner. Instead, they're like, hey, man, quarterback power to Trey. We'll hand it to Trey, and he'll go left, and he'll pick and slide and find a hole. I mean, it's just I never liked their utilization of him.
Yeah, one of Mahomes' biggest plays in the Super Bowl was that long scramble down the middle of the field in the final drive. I mean, that wins games. Zone reads don't. I mean, it's a nice little play. It keeps the defense honest on that shotgun stuff, but the scrambles are what's important. Trey's good at that. Selfishly, I'd like to see Trey Lance play a little football with his team. 4 starts is nothing. It's a burp. It's a belch.
If they had gone to my mic keeps going down. If they had gone to Mariota, to me that would have been an indication they were going with Trey. Right. The fact that they went to Darnold seems to be more of an indication they're going with Brock and Darnold.